So building a supply chain integrity through blockchain. So blockchain has been a very interesting topic in the tech world, but many of us don't really understand the true sense of what blockchain stands for. So what I've done is I've prepared a small presentation to explain to you what blockchain really is and how we've leveraged it within ACG. So assume someone requests for a transaction. This could be for a product, it could be for a service, it could be anything for that matter. When this transaction request is broadcasted from a peer-to-peer network consisting of computers, these are what we call nodes. A network of these nodes, they validate the transaction and the user status using several embedded algorithms. This is done across a network of nodes to ensure that the transaction is authentic. Once this is verified, the transaction is combined with other transactions that create a block of data for the ledger. The new block is then added to an existing blockchain in a way that is permanent and unalterable till the transaction is complete. It's a little like our banking system is today, where you've got debits and credits and a ledger, except these debits and credits are validated through a multiple set of networks and not a single ledger. So it's like multiple ledgers sitting in the cloud. So why blockchain? And really in ACG, we use blockchain for three primary purposes. One is anti-counterfeiting. In the pharmaceutical industry, we have tremendous number of fake drugs that are circulating in the system. And to prevent these anti-counterfeiters from passing on these anti-counterfeit drugs into the supply chain, we leverage blockchain. The second is data visibility right across the entire supply chain and to ensure compliance. What I'm going to do next is walk you through three different use cases and the way that we have leveraged blockchain and some of our customers have leveraged blockchain. So the first case study that I'll be talking about is anti-counterfeiting itself. So what you see on the screen are two capsules. The question that I'm going to throw out there is, can you tell which one of these medicines is fake? By the physical appearance, you probably can't tell which one is fake. However, this drug can be faked anywhere in the supply chain. It may be contaminated, it may contain the wrong active ingredient or no active ingredient at all. So what we do is, assume a company places an order for products. Very often, what we see is with global supply chains, foreign companies place orders, for example, on an Indian pharmaceutical company. Let's say they place an order for 100,000 units. Now, because of manufacturing constraints, very often when we produce 100,000 units, we produce some extra and some get rejected. In this specific case, which you see up here on the screen, assume that out of 100,000 units, 90,000 passed. They left the facility and went to the wholesaler, to the distributor, the retailer, and the consumer. What ACG has done using serialization and blockchain and using the ACG Very Shield solution is layered this entire supply chain with a network. In this network, at every step of the distribution process, the drug and its authenticity can be verified through a simple 2D matrix code. And at each step, whether it's the distributor, the wholesaler, the retailer, or the consumer, can authenticate that the product that they're consuming is absolutely safe. Very often, what happens in pharmaceutical companies, or any other industry for that matter, is sometimes extra units get produced, or 10,000, in this specific case, 10,000 units got rejected. These rejected units somehow always make it into the hands of the suspicious counterfeit supplier, who then tries to infiltrate the supply chain. However, since he doesn't have the same blockchain tools on his supply chain, when he tries to enter into the real supply chain, very often his product gets unauthenticated. So this is just one way that we've leveraged blockchain to secure the supply chain and prevent anti-counterfeiters from supplying anti-counterfeit products into the hands of consumers. I'm going to move to my next case study, which is on real-time visibility. What you see on the screen again is a capsule. And the question I ask is, do you really know what goes into making this and where the ingredients come from? Well, let me tell you, it's fairly complex. With global manufacturing today and global trade and free markets, just to make the single capsule, and let me give you where the ingredients in the machines come from. Well, the capsule itself is produced in our manufacturing facility in Croatia. The machine to fill the capsule and package it is produced in India. We serialize these capsules so that we can track and trace them through the supply chain, which comes from Switzerland. The films, so these capsules get packaged in blisters. Those films are produced in Brazil. The excipients that go inside the capsule are produced in Europe and USA. The API, which is the active pharmaceutical ingredient, is produced in India and Taiwan. And some of the machine manufacturing components are produced in Austria and Germany. Now, the product itself looks simple, but the supply chain and the number of partners and stakeholders to make sure that product is produced correctly and reaches the customers on time, they are produced globally, all around the world. By layering a blockchain network across these multiple stakeholders in the entire supply chain, it enables us to get visibility at each step of the supply chain process. This has helped us tremendously in ensuring that our supplies are on time, that we have no stockouts, that our inventories are optimized, and we get just-in-time deliveries. It also enables us to take better decisions on how and what we should procure and when we should procure it. Especially in a time like COVID, where supply chains are getting extremely disrupted. You don't know whether certain materials will arrive on time, or whether vessels are getting late, or where the product is in transition. And this is where we've leveraged blockchain to get that real-time visibility across everything that we produce. My last case study is about compliance. For us in the pharmaceutical industry, compliance is one of the most important factors that we have to take into consideration. We supply to 100 different countries around the world, and each country has its own set of compliances. And ensuring that your drugs are safe at all times, especially in the hands of the consumers, is critically important. So if we look at the pharmaceutical supply chain, what we've got here, and this is it's a very simplified layout. We've got the facility which produces our products. That ultimately via airplane goes into national storage facility, and then by truck into a regional storage facility, finally to the clinic, the pharmacy, and onward to the consumer. Now, what is important is that when the product reaches the consumer, through the entire supply chain, that the attributes of the product have to be maintained. And when I mean the attributes of the product, some of these products are sensitive to moisture, some of these products are sensitive to relative humidity, and we got to ensure that through this entire supply chain, that those parameters are maintained till it reaches the hands of the consumer. If not, potentially it could impact the efficacy of the product. What we did was effectively leveraging two technologies, IoT and blockchain. What we did is we layered the entire supply chain with exactly this. Leveraging IoT sensors, we put in temperature and humidity sensors at each step of the process. And using blockchain, we got all this information almost near real time sent back to our headquarters, from where we can actually monitor each step of the process, and we can ensure that this final consumer at the end have received products which are absolutely safe. And this is really how we leveraged blockchain to ensure pharma supply chain compliance. Just to summarize, blockchain helps us in gaining visibility, authentication, and compliance. We get near real-time updates, optimize inventory in a dynamic supply chain. We have permanent audit trails of every step of the process. JIT, and zero stockouts. On the authentication side, we can ensure our products are safe, we can reduce any revenue loss due to counterfeiters, and help improve our brand image. On the compliance, since we're dealing with multiple stakeholders across the entire value chain, this holds everyone to account to ensure that throughout the distribution network, that our products' safety, integrity, and efficacy are being maintained. When I look at blockchain as a technology in itself, and I look at some of the value that it brings to industries or to our industry, to my industry, I can clearly say that blockchain can be applied not only to pharmaceuticals, but any industry supplying goods and services across the globe. Thank you.